Hello everybody, it's I, Zankoku, and I'm bringing you a movie review. The movie I'm reviewing today is War Dogs. Yes, War Dogs. It is the movie starring Jonah Hill and Miles Teller and is brought to you by the guy who did the Hangover trilogy. And because of that, a lot of people probably think, and also watching the trailers, it kind of gives you this idea, that this is sort of a comedy, that it's an over-the-top sort of crime comedy. And honestly, it is not. It is a drama. So if you were looking for a comedy in this movie, then don't. Like, if you're looking for a straight out, flat out comedy, don't watch this movie. I kind of went in there thinking this was going to be more of a comedy, and it does have a lot of funny moments, but it's definitely a drama. And I just wanted to warn people beforehand. This is a drama movie, so don't think you're going to be seeing Hangover Part 4 here. So I'm going to get this out of the way. So what is this movie about, actually? Well, Jonah Hill and Miles Teller are friends from high school who, after high school, they kind of went their separate ways, and they end up getting reunited after a funeral and start selling guns to the U.S. government to make a lot of money, because Miles Teller's character is, well, kind of down on his luck. He's a massage therapist. He's not getting paid a lot. He doesn't like his clientele. He decided to put all his life savings in investments to sell premium bed sheets to retirement homes, which apparently no retirement home gives a shit about the retirees in there because they don't want to spend any premium on those bed sheets, so he can't sell them. And of course, his girlfriend is also pregnant. So Jonah Hill says, "Hey, work for me." And he's like, "Okay." And then they start selling guns to the U.S. government. So what happens in this movie is they start out kind of slow and sort of work and pick the little breadcrumbs until they get this kind of exclusive contract. And when they are able to pull off some miraculous and illegal things to get that contract filled, they kind of put themselves on the map, and the business grows. And there is this sort of brass ring type of contract that everyone was going for, and they decided to not only put in a bid for it, but put in a bid that was way lower than a lot of people, and they ended up winning it. And of course, the problem is some of the stuff that they need to procure is very difficult to procure, and you had things like backstabbing and all this other stuff going on. And that's really the movie, is sort of the underhanded world of the small time defense contractors. And it is a very interesting tale. And I kind of like the whole like little misadventures that they have trying to get things going, having to deal with problems like, oh, their supplier gave them the wrong stuff, or new law was passed and they can't ship from one place to another, things like that. And of course, some of the stuff that they end up having to do is not quite legal. And of course, when you start doing that kind of stuff, you put yourself at risk. And of course, also, while doing all this business, there's the inevitable trying to screw someone else out of things. And when you start doing that, you better watch out, because you screw with the wrong person, you end up getting bitten on the ass. And that kind of is what happens in this movie. So the performances, Miles Teller is your everyday guy. You really feel for him. He's down on his luck, and you really pull for this guy to win, because in the end, he might have done some questionable things, but you knew he was like a really stand-up guy, and you really wanted him to succeed in this movie. Jonah Hill's character, usually people will think, he kind of overblows it sometimes, but he reined it in a bit on this one. I mean, still, he is kind of out there, but I think it fits the character very well, and he's very entertaining. He does have a lot of funny moments, but he kind of creates like this guy there's this line where it's like you kind of like you think he's kind of a stand-up guy, but you also know that he's a backstabbing, shyster, liar, cheat, swindler, and you just always have this feeling like he's just gonna fuck something up. He's gonna fuck it up for the two, and you really kind of toward the end really dislike the character, because he just, if he didn't do such stupid ass moves, and be a greedy jerk, things might have gone differently. I'm not going to go into like everything that happens in this movie, but uh, it is sort of a rise and fall type of movie. You start out with the sort of rags to riches, and then of course, your criminal empire, the inevitable fall. And they always talk about Scarface in this movie, and in their business. There's this big picture of Scarface, Al Pacino in that movie, and you kind of feel like that's the sort of thing that's going on with this movie. Now, this movie is based on a real story. I don't know how much Hollywood has kind of exaggerated, because they do exaggerate a little bit, but it's a very interesting and entertaining movie. I felt myself very compelled by what was going on. I felt for these characters. I loved the world that they were in, and I wanted to spend more time in that world. I thought it was fascinating and interesting and very entertaining. This movie zips by. It has great pacing. There's never really any moments where I'm just kind of starting to get bored and hope for it to pick up the pace. I thought it was great from start to end. And I'm going to give it a really solid 4 out of 5. Like I said, this is not a comedy. If you're expecting a comedy, then you're going to be disappointed. But if you want a decent drama with funny elements, with good characters, an interesting story, and kind of like a sort of rags to riches crime type of Goodfellas type of story. I mean, we're not talking about hitmen and things like that, but we're talking more about like the rise of a guy getting to the top of the world using kind of illegal measures, and then of course the inevitable fall from grace that happens. This is a good type of movie. Not as good as Goodfellas. No, I'm not saying as good as Goodfellas, but this is a very solid movie. Very entertained. Very surprised by this movie, and I think you all should check it out, especially if you like dramas, crime dramas, a little bit of international spice. I enjoyed it. I'm giving it a 4 out of 5. War Dogs, out in theaters right now. Tell me what you think. Did you watch War Dogs? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Tell me why. Leave it in the comments. Also, if you like this review, give it the thumbs up. Apparently, YouTubers say that it helps out a lot. I don't know how it helps. I don't think I get my car fixed every time a thumb is up, or the candy machine will dispense my candy bar properly if I get a thumbs up. I don't know, whatever. Leave a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel and you want to subscribe, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. You can check out the rest of my stuff on my channel, and until then, everyone, you guys stay dangerous, Internet.